Well, the Arts and Culture Department says it will announce plans on how artists can be protected. Nyembe called for job security and better working conditions for actors not long before her death.
Now, this is the most meaningful way we can honor Mam Nandi by carrying forward her fight for dignity, recognition, and sustainability in the creative sector. Now, in the coming weeks or months, our minister will announce the plans that we have put in place already to ensure that our artists and creatives are taken care of. And I promise you, that is not a promise. And we invite you to join hands in us dealing with these things.
Well, seasoned artist as well as economic freedom fighters, Member of Parliament, Mr. Eugene Mthethwa, joins us for more on the sentiments that were shared during the memorial service of Mam Nandi Nyembe. Mr. Mthethwa, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I think perhaps just as before we even get to the lessons that we learned, certainly from her life, on what we need to legislate to protect artists, so just some words that you'd like to share about the send-off that we did see for Mam Nandi today as a fellow artist.
Well, I must say that it is a sad day for us. This was also double impacted by the fact that we have also lost Richard Siluma, who's in the music industry, and very close. I always say that there's a thin line between us and journalists, because it is creative work that comes out of that. It is talent also. We know that we've lost Madia, Miss Madia, who just passed away. So it's a sad reality to see, especially Mam Nandi having spoken openly about her challenges. It is said that it has now happened, and indeed we know what has happened in terms of having to contribute, always artists having to be buried through contributions. It is a sad thing to experience.
Yeah. We did see not long ago when Mam Nandi came out publicly and talked about some of her struggles. And again, there's this plea that we think about when we go back to those videos of a woman who is respected and loved by so many receivers of her work across the country and abroad, for goodness sake. I mean, it's incredible what she was able to do. But in her 70s saying, I don't want handouts, I want work. So little protection for her. And then you've got this Performance Protection Amendment Bill that is now sitting for review with the Constitutional Court. Then there's also the Copyright Amendment Bill that would secure royalties to a performer like Mam Nandi in her golden years, to have something that comes into her pocket as she enjoys the last part of her life. Where is this legislation, Eugene?
Well, you can ask the question again. Since from 2017, we've been waiting for this legislation to become law, but it is unfortunate that it has been sent from pillar to post. The president has sent it back to the Constitutional Court. When both National Assembly and NCOP has adopted this. So in other words, the president has just said that I don't trust you guys. I don't trust Parliament. I don't trust what you've done. I don't trust what people have said. I prefer that it be taken to the Constitutional Court. Now, if you look at how it has been delayed, I mean, I'm sure it's the only law that we have ever had in South Africa that has taken so long. And in this particular law, what we find it unacceptable is that when these two pieces of laws are presented for adoption by Parliament, they are presented separately. But when we are dealing with them as a law, then they are tagged together, which then says you cannot pass one and hold the other. They must be passed jointly. But the problem with this is that performers who are actors who don't have copyright, they were expecting to get repeats, royalties from their repeats. When their work is repeated on TV, they would be getting royalties. Now they are disappearing into thin air without receiving these royalties. This is where Mam Nandi would have received royalties, because some of the works that they've done have been repeatedly played, and others have been even licensed abroad, but they're not getting royalties because we don't have this law that is supposed to protect performers. And when it comes to the copyright,
who's failing the
artists-
process? So let me ask you that. Who needs to step it up? I mean, is there a role right now that, say, Minister Gayton McKenzie should be playing? Who needs to be there to ensure that there is more protection for our artists?
Well, the ball is in the president's court, because he's the one who's supposed to sign this as a law. He took it back, citing that it has a constitutional issue. And the constitutionality that he was talking about, it is the retrospectivity of this. He was saying, no, remember that post-1994, I will make an example, and I always want to make this example.
Yeah.
We said post-1994, people who had dispossessed land rights, they must get their land rights back. There was restitution,
Yes.
redistribution of land, and now we're talking expropriation of land without compensation. This is similar to what artists are asking for. We are saying we lost our rights because during apartheid, we were so dumb, we were suppressed, we were made to believe that we need to go via the corporate,
Right.
corporate entities in order to get our music out there. Now we are saying post-1994, there's a restorative justice, which says we must get our works back, because we don't own these works. They are owned by corporate sector. And we are saying, let's get our works back and then renegotiate how we deal with this. But the president says, no, I would rather protect the ownership, the unfortunate, arbitrarily acquired ownership, rather than to protect the very same artists or performers that
Right.
you are saying that they want to protect.
Yeah, we're going to leave it
That
there.
is the unfortunate thing, that we are not going to be getting the benefits of what this law is supposed to do.
And
Because
we-
now he has taken it back to say, let's protect
Yeah.
your big companies.
And unfortunately, when we have a star pass away, we have this conversation over again. Mr. Eugene Mthethwa, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. EFF Member of Parliament, as well as a seasoned veteran artist in the country.